Welcome to my channel. This is Cooking with Jimmy Guass. Today we're going to be cooking up a nice corned beef brisket. I got this here corned beef from the Harris Teeter. If you didn't get your corned beef from Harris Teeter, fucking return it and go to Harris Teeter and get yourself a nice corned beef brisket, boys. The next step, real easy. All we're going to do is we're going to get to cooking. All you got to do, cut open your bag with scissors. If you get lost on this step, just go ahead and return your corned beef or put it in the hands of someone more apt to do the job. I'm currently struggling, but that's because I'm holding the camera. So I can teach all of you simpletons how to cook a corned beef brisket from the one, the only Harris Teeter. So you cut her open, let's get her on a plate. Let's move along, boys. We made it to step 3. We got our corned beef out of the package, and you've already made it further than 90% of Obama supporters could possibly make it. Keep up the good work. Next, we're going to be working with some Grey Poupon, boys. Yeah, some of my favorite Dijon mustard. I love it. Some of my favorite stuff. Then what you're going to want to do is get yourself some honey. Kirkland brand honey is fine. Normally, I like to get mine from a little jar with a bear on it. You can get yours from a glass jar. You can get yours straight from the hive. Don't matter. Just get yourself some honey, boy. With our next step. This is still in the frame just to show you what a piece of shit you are if yours is open. Mine, obviously, is not and will not be open. From there, now this is a secret not a lot of people know. You keep on cooking with Jimmy Guass, you're going to learn. The corned beef, in the term corned beef, comes because you have to use black peppercorns on the top. See, not a lot of people know that, and that's something that my mama taught me. And I know it to be real. So here we go. We're going to go ahead and pepper the top of the beef. It's going to look good. That's going to be good stuff. Now, salt, you don't want to salt it, because this is already a salty cut of meat. So you just make sure you put as much pepper on there if you want. You put a lot more than I have. I mean, I love pepper, but I love the flavor of my Dijon mustard. So I'm not going to put too much on there. But if you want to get real crazy, you go ahead with a fresh black peppercorn. Be the best thing you ever eaten. So all we're going to do now, we're going to take our oven. I've already preheated mine, but you're going to want to put yours up to 350 degrees. Hotter than Hades in there to cook up your corned beef brisket. So hang tight. We're going to get this thing in a pan. You're going to want to use a pan that's got sides on it. Do not be a simpleton. Use sides on your pan. Use tinfoil for the cleanup. It's the easiest way to go. So keep on staying on with me. I'm going to get a pan. I'm going to get me some foil. We're going to get this in the oven. Here we are live with our next step. Now all you got to want to do, go ahead and get handsy with your meat. You've been doing it since you're 13. I know you can do it now. Just go ahead and place it in the middle of your tinfoil. Super easy. If you got some mustard, you want to get your hands dirty, go ahead and take your mustard. Slop it on there. Make sure you get a nice layer. Get a nice coating. Fun fact, actually, the reason that I wanted corned beef, as you may or may not know from following my channel, I'm a bit of a rugged outdoorsman. I work outside on almost 70 to 85% of my days. Buddy of mine's walking, came right into a pile of dog shit. He said, "Man, I got the poop on my boots." And I thought, daggone, I could go for a brisket. So here we go. I got the poop on all over my brisket, boy. So what you want to do here, you give her an old cover up. It's simple. It's easy. We're having fun here. Just covering her up. You still got a little slop on her hands. That's all right. She'll come off when you wash it. So go ahead and wrap her up. Get yourself another piece of tinfoil. Wrap her again. Just make sure she's tight in there. And you're going to want to go ahead and put her in your preheated oven and let her cook for a good 2.5 hours. You want her to be tender with a fork when you're done. But let me tell you, open this bad boy up. When you get around 2.5 to 3 hours, open her up, put her on broil, crisp your top. You're going to want to get a nice, good crisp to her. That is the key to this corned beef recipe. Now, I heard recipe was a French word. I choose not to use that as much as possible. I would like to say meal preparation style is the words I would like to use, but to show my cultured side, this recipe, you're going to want to take her out around 2:30, open her up, let her breathe. You're going to want to steam her, keep her nice and crisp at the end, but during the beginning, you're going to want to let her steam in her own juices. It's good stuff, trust me. Around 2.5 hours, we'll pop her out, open her up, let her breathe. Get a nice crisp crust on the top. Boy, it's going to be good eating with some taters. Hang on now, we getting her in the oven. We're back on step 3.5. We got our brisket out, we got our honey out, we got our Grey Poupon out. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you how much you want to get here. Now, it doesn't have to be perfect. Nothing's perfect, right? Life ain't what you think it's going to be. So get yourself a good dripping of the poupon here. You're going to want to get a good bit of that in there. You see how much? That's a fresh jar of poupon right there. And you see how much I put in here? You're going to want to be able to slather this whole thing smothered and covered like your hash browns. I know you like your hash browns like that. So I'm going to go ahead and open up this honey jar here. Get a nice little squeeze in here. I'm going to show you, how much honey you're going to want to do. I see if we can get a good angle in there. You don't want too much honey. You just want to burn off that little bit of mustard spice on there. That's your most important part. So make sure you got a good bit of honey in there mixed with your poupon. And next thing we're going to do, we're going to stir this up, which is going to be a little hard with one hand, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it for you. Do it for the tube. And then all we're going to do is we're just going to slather this here on this here corned beef. And it's going to be so tasty. Let me tell you what. It's going to make you a crust like you ain't never had before. Now, quick little note about this packet here. Now, if you want to use that packet, you're just truthfully a piece of shit. You don't need the packet. The packet is for suckers that only cook corned beef on St. Patty's Day. And you should know better than that, because corned beef is an all-season, any-day dish. One of the best dishes you can have. One of my favorites. I've eaten a lot of corned beef in my lifetime. There's two things I've eaten a lot of. One's corned beef. Then the other tastes like fish, but it ain't from the ocean, right? And that's about my two favorite things. So here we go. We slathered the top. You still got a good bit left in there. You go ahead and flip it over. Pretty easy. You go ahead and touch it. Might not be the greatest thing you ever touched, but it ain't going to kill you. So here you're going to put a little bit on the back side there. See, that's going to be sitting at the bottom because you always want to put your fat side down. It's like when you go to bed. You don't want to sleep on your back. You want to make sure you get your fat side down. So just remember, it's just like nighttime for you. So go ahead and slather that up. Now, that's a good-looking corned beef brisket from the teeter. I ought to send this to old Harris, see what he says. Bet you he'd come over for dinner. So there we go. We got her all slathered up real nice, like letting it soak in. That's good stuff right there, boys. I'm coming right back at you. Now, again, like I said, you're going to want to set your timer, and you're going to want to go for a solid 2 hours and 45 minutes. Now, I'm not going to tell you exactly what to do. You're just going to have to learn this on your own. But you're going to want her to be fork tender before you open her up and let her breathe a little bit. So here we got a pan in the oven. That doesn't do anything. I just don't have any spaces for that pan in my kitchen. And we're going to put it under my pan with no place. We're going to put it right up in there. You see how that's in the oven? You got the light on. You can see it real good. So we're going to leave that in there for about 2 hours, 30 minutes. I'll come back to you about 2 hours, 30 minutes. I'll show you what we're looking for. Again, you got your sauce packet here because I'm not a piece of shit. So you keep that out just like you should. We're going to let this cook in the oven. I just want to say real quickly, shout out to my good buddy on the YouTubes, Michael's Evolution. Now, if you follow his channel, you might find something like a tractor. If you like snakes, boy, he got some snakes for you. So go ahead and check my buddy out. Give him a like, give him a subscribe, do your thing. We come back here about 2 hours, 45 minutes. Welcome back to Cooking with Jimmy Guass. The good news is, this roast is definitely done. We're going to go ahead and pull her out of the oven. Now, like I told you, I'm a hard-working outdoorsman. Now, when I take a nap, sometimes I nap for over 2.5 hours, which I definitely did this time. So this meat is gone for longer than we would like. But do not worry, she'll be alright. Now, it's going to be a hot one when you pull it out. You see, she's steaming up my camera. Looky there, boys. A nice cut of brisket. Now, at this point, I've napped way too long. There is no way we are going to get a delicious crust as we should have had. But do not worry, we're going to get something on here. So just hang along. Now, here we go. I'm going to give y'all a pro tip that I want you to take to your heart. If you are a rugged working outdoorsman such as myself and you need to take a nap when you're cooking your brisket, do not oversleep by at least an hour and make yourself a tough cut of brisket. Because there ain't nothing worse than a tough cut of brisket. Now, there ain't no way we're going to be able to save this crust. But as you can see, we got a lovely fork tender cut here. Beautiful brisket. We didn't ruin her, we just overslept on her. So what you're going to want to do when you're cutting your brisket, now this is one of the most important parts of brisket. You're going to want to find your grain. You see the grain of this meat here? You're going to want to find your grain and you're going to want to cut against the grain. Now the way I like to remember this is I call it cutting like a Democrat. Because they're against small-time American farmers, a.k.a. against the grain. So you're going to want to cut up your brisket just like a Democrat would against the grain. And now this be perfect to have on a sandwich or just like I like it, plain with potatoes. So go ahead, cut up your brisket. Don't oversleep. If you didn't, go ahead and take it out around 2 hours, 30 minutes, fork tender. Turn your oven on broil. Put her right under the broiler. Make sure you still got a nice layer of that Dijon on there. And cook her down till you get a nice crispy top. And now that's your ideal brisket. Now, any kind of brisket is ideal. Oversleep or not oversleep, you're going to enjoy your brisket. You can't go wrong. This was something I call whisker brisket. Because I'm going to be so deep in this, I'm going to get it all over my whiskers, all over my beard. It's going to be excellent. So I'm not going to worry too much about this. I hope you don't oversleep. But if you're a rugged outdoorsman such as myself, sometimes you just don't have any other choice. So this is Jimmy Guass coming at you. I appreciate you watching my educational video on my recipe. You all have a wonderful evening. Back at y'all real quick. Show you how I cut her up. She's still nice and moist, nice and tender. We got that mustard flavor coming all the way through this cut. And she turned out good. I don't want to leave her in the heat anymore. I don't want to broil her and get a nice crust on her. She's going to be delicious anyway. I just want to let you know, y'all can just sleep in as long as you want. She's going to turn out good. You're still going to enjoy her. It don't matter. Like I said, brisket's for simpletons. I know that y'all can do it because I can do it and I overslept. So y'all, again, enjoy your brisket. Send me your pictures. Like and comment if you want me to make some more brisket for you.